I hired a hacker to read my husband's WhatsApp messages. You won't believe what I found. Hello, my dear friends, how are you? I hope you are well and in good health. Today I have a new and very important video with you, which is I hired a hacker to read my husband's WhatsApp messages. You won't believe what I found. I hope you like it, but before watching, subscribe to the channel, like, and share so that the video reaches many viewers. Thank you. Now let's watch the video. It was never part of the plan. I never imagined I'd go down such a dark, desperate path. But when you're in a relationship where doubt starts to whisper, then shout, then take over completely, you find yourself doing things you thought only happened in movies. That's how I ended up hiring a hacker to access my husband's WhatsApp. What I discovered shook me, not just because of what I read, but because of who I became in the process. Let me take you through the story. From the suspicions to the shady transaction, to the shocking truth that made me question everything, including myself. It all started with silence. My husband wasn't a cheater. Or at least, not the type you'd expect. He wasn't flirty. He wasn't charming in that dangerous, womanizing kind of way. But he had become quiet. The emotional intimacy we once shared had faded. He became glued to his phone, especially at night, and would leave the room during calls. His WhatsApp notifications were always muted, his screen always turned away. When I asked who he was texting, he'd respond with vague work stuff or just my brother. My gut told me something was wrong. The only problem was, I had no proof. No lipstick on a shirt collar. No anonymous texts. Just this growing, gnawing sense that something, or someone, was coming between us. I didn't want to spy. I wanted clarity. But when conversations failed and trust was no longer enough, I took a step I can never undo. Enter the dark web. You'd be surprised how easy it is to find a hacker these days. A few keywords on Reddit, a dive into obscure forums, and suddenly you're in a world where morality takes a backseat to money. I created an anonymous profile and posted a request, need help accessing someone's WhatsApp. Will pay. Within minutes, I received dozens of messages from self-proclaimed ethical hackers, black hat experts, and digital mercenaries. Some asked for Bitcoin up front. Others sent me screenshots of supposed successful hacks. Most felt like scams. But one stood out, a guy named ShadowBite who claimed he could remotely access WhatsApp messages through something called SS7 exploitation. I didn't fully understand the technical jargon, but he explained it like this: by spoofing a mobile network protocol, signaling system number 7, it was possible to intercept messages without even touching the target's phone. It sounded both terrifying and exactly what I needed. He asked for $500 in Bitcoin. I hesitated. Was I really about to pay a stranger to spy on my husband? The answer came in the form of another vague text my husband received late one night. He smiled as he read it, then quickly locked his phone. That was the tipping point. I made the payment the next morning. The waiting game. ShadowBite told me it would take 24 hours. During that time, I felt a mix of guilt and anticipation. What if I found out he was cheating? What if I didn't? What if he found out I hired a hacker? I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Every WhatsApp notification I saw on someone else's phone made my heart race. I was on edge in a way I hadn't felt since the early days of our relationship, only now, it wasn't love that kept me up at night. It was fear. When the message finally came, it simply read, "Access granted. Download chat export below." Attached was a zip file. I opened it, hands shaking. The truth and the twist. There were hundreds of messages. Dozens of contacts. But one conversation stood out, one that had been deleted on his phone, but was backed up in the server data ShadowBite had accessed. It was with a contact saved only as L. No photo. No status. Just L. The messages started innocently enough. L, you okay? Him, rough day. Just trying to get through it. L, want to talk about it? But they quickly turned more emotional, more vulnerable. He told her things he hadn't told me. About his doubts, his stress, his fears. How he felt like he was failing at everything, especially marriage. How he sometimes felt invisible. Then came the message that hit like a punch to the chest. Maybe you'd be happier if you left him. I think about it sometimes. But I still love her. That her was me. He hadn't cheated. He hadn't lied. He had simply opened his heart to someone else, emotionally. That realization crushed me in ways physical infidelity never could have. The aftermath. I stared at the chat logs for hours. I read and reread every word. I wanted to hate him. I wanted to blame but the more I read, the more I realized I had played a role in this too. I had withdrawn. I had stopped listening. I had let routine and resentment build walls between us. And now, instead of talking to each other, we had turned to strangers. And what did I do? I hired a hacker. I invaded his privacy. I broke every boundary we had, because I couldn't handle not knowing. We were both wrong. In different ways, but equally damaging. Legal, moral, or justified? Let's be clear, what I did was illegal. Unauthorized access to someone's private messages is a violation of privacy laws in almost every country. Hiring someone to do it is no less serious. Morally, I crossed a line. I didn't just spy, I paid someone to violate my husband's digital space. That's not curiosity. That's betrayal. Was it justified? That depends on how you define justification. Did I get the truth? Yes. Did it help? Not really. It opened a door that can never be closed. What I've learned: trust is fragile. Once doubt creeps in, it doesn't matter how small it is, it grows like a weed and chokes everything good. Emotional cheating is still cheating. Even without physical contact, giving your heart to someone else leaves scars. Spying won't bring peace. Even when you find the truth, it doesn't make you feel better. It just replaces doubt with pain. Healing starts with honesty, not hacking. We should have talked. We should have been honest about how we felt. Instead, we ran in opposite directions. Where are we now? I confronted him. I confessed to everything, even hiring the hacker. He was devastated. Not just because of the betrayal, but because he felt he had become someone I couldn't trust. We're still together, but we're working through it, in therapy, in conversation, and slowly, with small acts of rebuilding. Not everyone gets that chance. I know we might not make it, but I do know this: if you're ever tempted to go down the road I did, to hire a hacker or snoop through someone's messages, stop and ask yourself what you really want, because what you find may not save your relationship. But what you destroy might never be repaired. Final thought: hiring a hacker gave me the answers I was looking for. But it cost me something far more valuable than the money I paid. It cost me trust, dignity, and peace. So if you're sitting in silence, wondering what your partner is hiding, maybe it's not a hacker you need. Maybe it's a conversation. Because the scariest messages aren't always the ones hidden on WhatsApp, they're the ones we never say to each other. At the end of the video, I hope you liked it. Until we meet again in a new video.